Good evening. I'd like to call the March 6, 2023 meeting of the Hampden Board of Selectmen to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. The board will be going into an executive session first and then returning back from that to open session. This meeting is being broadcast over Zoom, and the board will be recording the open session part of it. Is anybody else recording this meeting? No. All right. Seeing that, I will take a motion to enter executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move the board adjourn to executive session to discuss strategy relative to litigation. It's been determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of our public body, and it's regarding the storage facility cases.
Roll call vote. John Flynn, aye.
Donald Davenport, aye.
Greg Rivers, aye.
Thank you. We will be returning to open session. I would say we anticipate this taking 10, 15 minutes at the most, Jesse. Super. Thank you. We'll see you back.
We're gonna go downstairs.
Yeah, the office.
Go back to our office. Sure.
We'll be back. Oh, we're here.
Try that, at least you have time to go back to your desk. advisories, I think, down the stairs.
That one I went
I
by?
think so. The Melville room, I think?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What's next?
Did the whole time
Executive
last time?
session, ambulance signing.
Were we muted last time? Did you unmute when we were? All right.
Hey, we're still on.
See agenda. Oh, you gotta go down for the,
Pretty soon.
we're back.
Okay, so we are back. Laura, are we all set?
Yeah, pause
Okay,
it.
great. We are back from our executive session. And next on our agenda, we have no minutes, so ambulance contract signing. Last week, you recall, we worked out some amendments and clarifications with Michael, the head of Action Ambulance, and I believe, Don, you codified them, correct?
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
You should have a
Craig, did you
copy.
have a
And you guys reviewed
Yeah.
them? You and Pam reviewed them?
We both reviewed them, tweaked them a little bit.
Okay.
And there's a signing page, signatory page.
Okay.
Need all three signed? Just one.
No, all you need all three.
Right, so just to be clear, these are the modifications that were proposed in the amendments we voted on last week
Right.
and agreed to by Action.
Yep.
So I really don't see no reason for a vote for the board. We
No,
voted these
we
last
voted
week. This is
each-
just
we
an
voted each
action
of
we're
these
taking.
individually, so.
Okay, so that's what's happening
So we're
there.
gonna sign those.
Have to
Sign
sign.
those, pass those along.
Pass those along.
Next on the agenda is the warrant and selectmen's budget. Bob passed out a draft copy of the warrant.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to forward that to advisory as well?
I have not sent it to the advisory committee. I'm going to do that. If you think we're in the ballpark with this revision this afternoon, by the way, I'll send it to them tomorrow.
Yeah, do you have a copy with you?
Yeah.
Drop. No, I'm
Everyone-
saying, bring them down to our meeting
Okay,
and hand it to them,
Yeah.
yeah.
so,
All right, so selectmen budget
I can tell you what I
Um,
did here with this update.
with the
Quickly.
warrant? I
Yes,
saw
on the
it.
warrant,
Craig, did you see the warrant updates?
on the warrant.
The warrant updates?
Yeah, Bob sent out,
I have not read that one yet. It came in this afternoon, didn't it?
yeah.
There's a printed copy.
I was looking at the printed one, yeah.
Yeah. I added the general override for a Prop 2.5
Well,
as a placeholder.
a placeholder only. Again, I think the only reason we saw that was there was a report
Right.
in the reminder
Yeah.
that there was a potential.
Yep.
Conversations with other people said that was very speculative at this point.
So it's there. I also added 20,000 as the revolving fund amount for the Board of Health. Looked back prior
Now, on
years,
that,
and
on
that
that
was the
part,
amount.
on the Board of Health revolving fund, so the fees are gonna go there now, right?
Instead of into the general
So
fund.
the
general
fees
fund.
are gonna go there, right, okay.
So we'll
That was
pay
the
the
collections.
Yeah,
expenses.
yeah, okay.
That was the revolving fund amount in 2021.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
No, no. Because it had been authorized in the past. Right.
And I did check with each department, and those numbers are good.
Okay,
I had the Minnetonka Land Trust, fire truck renovation,
And then,
the matching grant. I guess I didn't finish that, but that's the matching grant of $10,000.
roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
10
for
or
the
11,
fire truck.
yeah.
And the dump truck for the highway.
Mhm.
Um,
I will
And
say
I also have the
typically we don't put the number, I mean, it's good to know it, but in the actual warrant, we don't put any
No.
dollar numbers. I know
Well,
it's in there.
yeah, Mark,
You can put it in the explanation underneath. We anticipate this to be, yeah.
yeah, Mark actually sent a draft
Mhm.
of the article. When I dug out his budget and I looked at that and I thought, well, we don't do that.
Right.
But, so I can take it out. Easement for National Grid, I guess, do we have that yet? Yeah, okay, all right. Haven't gotten to it. And there were two articles for the senior center. One was a placeholder because I knew they were going to ask for something. And then we had another article where they're asking for, specifically for funding to do design.
The
for their building.
placeholder is the
Yes.
design money. There's only one article.
Right, I
needed.
took that, yeah, I
Okay.
took it out, and we now have just the placeholder. Also did some tweaking on the accessory apartment article. This was basically modeled on the Wilbraham
Correct.
article, so
So you modified it?
housekeeping, just housekeeping stuff.
Okay.
Um,
I know we have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday,
Yeah.
and talking to Joanne,
Yeah.
we'll be discussing
Okay.
the language there.
Nothing at all substantive, but there were some issues. I don't know whether, I didn't know whether to keep the Article 20 or not.
I would say no. Really, the name for 20 is correct. You know, it's design funding, actually appropriate money for an RFQ, if you will.
Right.
Right.
So no, 20,
The actual expansion, you wouldn't be voting that
20 is
for
the
another
150.
year.
no.
20 is for the 150.
I'm
20.
going by the,
No, you
I
have
guess-
the update.
I guess your table of contents isn't good. Because the table of contents is 20 is senior center design funding.
Yeah, right. It's not updated.
Okay.
You added the fire station, fire truck in there.
So I don't know about that Article 20, keep it or not.
The real Article 20?
Yeah.
The 150, I think, we've been talking
150th
about that for
anniversary.
several years. We should be picking an amount to start putting in the bank for
Yes,
the
yeah,
150.
yeah.
Whether it's 5,000 or 10,000, you know.
Be interesting to have a project as well. Some multi-year project,
Mhm.
so. The rest is boilerplate.
Right.
I did get the request in today or yesterday, last week, for the school resource officer. I
saw
have a
that.
number on that now.
Right. Yeah. Right in the same ballpark, right around
Yeah.
11,000, same every year. Yeah. Okay.
So that's it.
Selectmen's budget, I think there's an opportunity for us to talk about where we're going in personnel. So I think you've got most of the numbers together, but I think we have to discuss, you know, as we have a change in personnel, it may require a change to
Yes.
the hours we're talking about for various positions.
Mhm.
But I think you were waiting for some insurance numbers.
I'm still waiting on.
Okay.
He's out of the country, but he said 10%.
He's out of the country with our money? Okay. All right, so we are meeting with
Stormwater, we have
advisory.
stormwater in there?
Okay, so interesting story about stormwater. You recall, last week we had Tom from Time Bomb presenting to us a
Yes.
couple weeks ago. He left. Today was his last day. They called Peter Valinsky, and he will have Tracy Adamski finish up, who actually was the person handling
Yes,
stormwater
right.
prior to Tom.
She was.
So we need that quote from them, basically.
Yeah, the number I have in there is just a wild guess.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a wild guess if in fact we don't do the hookup. Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah. Kind of Craig, do you have a sense of the fiber number at this point? No?
No, we need to have all the poll applications and everything submitted, and then the reviews, right?
I got an
finally got
update
that,
on
letter of
Wednesday.
credits situated, so we can continue on to the next step of that.
But I need to get that verbal, but Brian and I have talked,
Mm.
Brian's people, we're going to talk to utilities, get into the portals, which is something we
Mhm.
haven't done.
Yeah.
They do, so I'll check in with them.
Okay. Yeah, because there could be two different numbers. If the poll inspections and the application process isn't completed yet,
Mhm.
it wouldn't make sense to go for funding for that project because you have a certain time period
Right.
to be able to do that. So
Would it be appropriate, though, to leave it on there in case you wanted to talk about it and then bring it up again?
we
at
can
the
leave it
fall
on there
town
now.
meeting?
Yeah, we can leave it on there now, and then, if we take no action on it, we take no action on it.
But then you've got it talked about, so if you want to do it in the fall, timing wise, you can't say it was a surprise. We told you this was
Right.
coming up.
Yeah.
Right, and then, of course, the testing number is going to be depending on what happens.
With the water
With the
district,
potential hookup and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right, okay. All right. All right, anything else on the warrant and selectmen budget?
No.
Okay. Next, we have one of the happier times in our meetings, especially when the police are here. We have we had the police chief advertise for a new sergeant. They did an interview, and I believe the chief has a recommendation for us. Is that true?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
You need two of these?
I'm gonna grab another mic too.
So good evening.
Hey, Tim.
I brought forward, we've had a process that started early January, and there's a promotional process through the Hampden Police Department. Includes the studying, the test, and then the interview process. And as I had submitted, I think the board should have in front of them a copy of Officer Meany and Officer Beatty were the two candidates who had passed our exam out of 4. Officer Beatty is actually here tonight to support the recommendation. So there's a written examination portion, then conducted the interviews. Myself, Sergeant Yvonne, Chief Kozlowski from Munson Police Department, along with Sergeant Cooney, conducted interviews. And then there's a point score system along the process that went ahead and put in place. Basically, the points go from your degree, your attendance, and how well you did on several questions that were asked from the panel. And I'm here to recommend Officer Meany for our promotion of our next sergeant. He'll be a great asset to our supervisory team that we currently have with myself, Sergeant Yvonne, and Sergeant Cooney. And I'm asking the board to recommend Sergeant Meany to that position.
All right, so your recommendation is for Sergeant Meany. We want the board to approve that, your promotion.
Yes.
Okay. So any questions for Sergeant Meany? You've been in town for a while, Mike, right?
Yes, sir.
How long? I recall, I think you came to me when we appointed you to the,
Yeah, back
to
in
the police force.
2008.
Right,
I've been
right.
full-time for the last 10 years now
Yeah.
and excited to move on to the next chapter.
Excellent. You ready?
Believe so, sir, yes.
Okay.
Update of his work with us from when he got appointed.
Very good.
Mhm.
So you started as a dispatcher?
I did.
Yeah.
Part-time dispatcher, part-time reserve officer, same time.
So Mike would become the sergeant on the third shift.
So Mike would become the sergeant on the third shift, yes.
How's that, Mike?
I'm ready.
I guess we maybe should ask his wife and the 3
Yeah.
little
Yeah, I was
ones over
just
there.
gonna say, like. Okay. Any questions of the board for Sergeant Meany to be? Oh, geez.
You're looking at me. That wasn't for Sergeant Meany.
No, I'm looking at you because I'm appreciative of the process that you went through to get this done.
Thank you.
And I would just recommend that we, as the board, we send a thank you to Chief Kozlowski of Munson for his participation in this. And what do you think about it?
I think it was a good process and we selected a great candidate.
Okay.
I have to say, this is the third sergeant promotion I've been involved in, and every time, it's been well handled by the police department. Obviously your first, Scotty, but
Correct.
you learned well, and
Thank you.
carrying it forward, I think the department is running very well at this point.
Thank you.
Knowing Mike for a couple of years now while being in this position, talking to him quite a bit, I feel he's very well off for the job and he'll do the job very well. So
Super.
I would have no problem appointing him to the job.
Okay.
So I'll move that we accept the recommendation of Chief, what's the name?
Trombley.
Trombley, oh yeah, Chief Trombley. Have Michael Meany appointed sergeant in the Hampden Police Department.
Second.
I know you have the name. Don just can't see that far on your name tag. Been moved and seconded to appoint Mike Meany as sergeant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Congrats, Mike.
Congratulations.
I have one request, if I could have
Here we
his
go.
wife come over and
Yes.
badge.
put-
Excellent.
Excellent.
Dalton, you gonna get that picture? Where is he? Okay.
What's the little one's name? I don't have my phone.
Behind you is,
I cannot believe you're gonna let him go.
Can you tell us one over there is Kate?
You take some photos with your dad. With your dad. Great.
Chief.
Right.
More picture with the chairman of the board? I can jump in too. Why don't we get the whole board in there? Why don't we get the whole board in there? Tom? What about the other one?
They're in front.
The wedding party.
Ready, 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Thank you.
Go get some sleep on.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we are.
Good.
All right. Don't leave, Scott. You're next. So are we almost on track? Back on track?
Yeah.
Back
We
on
are.
track. We're going
All right.
downstairs now, right?
So, actually, we have a letter from the highway superintendent that he anticipates going into the red on the snow and ice account. We need to, as a board, formally vote to accept deficit spending in that account.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll mark the order more salt. And I have to say, it was only the last week that really,
last week,
yeah, just incredible. But there's something else I was gonna bring up in, a quick recap, because at this point, I don't know if we'll come back to open session. Don and I attended the Who Fest at Thornton Burgess yesterday. Nobody let the dogs out. That was Don's first comment,
The
yeah.
Who. That
But,
wasn't that wasn't the singing group, The Who.
Yeah, no. But it was interesting.
I thought it was, that's why I went.
Interesting event, well organized. We'd like to thank the organizers of that from Wilbraham, but they were very, very cooperative and really looked to involve Hampden in what was going on there, you know. So we look forward to more of that. I do know that Park and Rec is looking forward to a fall festival type thing, I believe, coming forward. And just to let you know that Craig and I are looking forward to the road cleanup. And they actually asked me about that at Wilbraham. You know, what are we doing in Hampden? Like, we've been doing it for a number of years, Craig, right?
Mhm.
And that'll probably be in the typical April,
April-ish.
May
I
timeframe,
think late April, right?
something like that, yeah. Have we picked out a new color for the shirts this year?
I don't think the color's been chosen yet.
And we'll have to take a poll on it. Maybe one of those online polls. Great. Don, we're looking forward to you really picking up your road this year.
I got my wife out there.
Any reports from the Selectmen?
The
Strategic?
school planning committee met, we were offered 185 potential options of moving classrooms around. We narrowed it down to 32. And then we're gonna narrow it down to 9 and then present it to the school committee. I guess that's the plan, but it had, after we get some community input onto it.
Okay. There was a school committee budget roundtable meeting last Thursday. They did have some audio difficulties during the meeting. So people online were not able to hear what was going on. Being one of those people online, and knowing that some of the topics talked about affected our town, I did reach out to them and ask them to come to our meeting next Monday so that we could really hear from them what was being talked about. Some things about some budget concerns and some concerns about the utilization of Thornton Burgess. So that will be first on our agenda for next Monday. I've reached out to Michelle and she has told I believe, John and Aaron to be ready. So, Craig.
All's good in the hood.
Amen. All right. All right. So we are actually moving our meeting. We're going down to the Melville Room to meet with the advisory committee to review the police budget for FY '24.
Do Bob's quick TA report.
I read it over. It wasn't really that good. Well, I just hit the high points. Okay, pick your top two.
I think the most important item here is that we did discuss at the staff meeting last week the mandate of the state to do the ethics training. And I'll remind them at the next meeting, we're going to make a strong effort.
I did go through that, and I think as Don said, I mean, it does take some time, but they're very generous in that. If you have to step away and do something, you can go right back. There's no timer running,
Right.
which is very
Right.
good.
Right.
In the past, there's been one, like if you stepped away for 5 minutes, you had to restart from the beginning, and that's unrealistic with people who have regular jobs and are doing this on a volunteer basis.
And cutting an hour out of the workday is not so easy either for a
No.
lot of, but I mean, they've set it up so you can't shortcut the process.
Mhm.
It's gonna be, and you know, the rest of it is here.
Yeah,
I'm spending my time on warrant issues and grant administration and,
Oh,
um,
that's okay. I looked at item 10 here. That's kind of a thing. Okay.
and.
Whoa, that really, so you're
What,
going on a
again?
cruise, huh?
Again? Yes,
Where?
France.
You need 3 days for a cruise in France?
You're gonna
No,
fly over,
Yeah.
you fly over the weekend before.
taking
Okay.
the river, one of those river ones?
Is
River,
it a
yeah,
Viking one?
river.
My brother did that, but he did the
Dordogne?
Rhine.
And the Garonne.
They were off for a couple of years because the rivers were so low, they had trouble
Yeah.
getting running.
Right, yeah, the Danube was that way.
Yeah.
But this is long planned before COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
they've canceled it 3 times. And I go with a group, there's a leader who
Mhm.
basically knows the area and said, let's go there. So that's why we do it.
Well, we should be able to get back to you on that in a couple of weeks, so we'll
Yeah,
let you know.
okay.
Yeah.
But they have good,
Well, first of
good
May.
internet
Yeah, first, yeah.
service and on the ship. And
I think you discussed that.
Corby, I thought we voted that last time, didn't we?
I thought we had two, but I couldn't get time.
Did we vote Corby last week or something?
2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
right.
We voted this.
so we need them signed. Okay, fine.
I'll sign it.
All right, so we are now going down. Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
Anything, Pam?
I'll sign anything.
Okay. All right, so we will be ending our Zoom session and going down to attend the advisory meeting to review the police budget. And I guess we can, Laura, we can just